www.
www.
Dot. New Haven Independent.
Knows yay.
Good morning and welcome to WNHH FM's Dateline, New Haven. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. Jordan Watson has started making New Haven tick. He stole the show at the inauguration of our new mayor last week with a stunning rendition of Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come that set the tone for the day in a new era. Turns out he's been training for years as a vocalist and starting to make waves in the community. He's here in the WNHH studio to tell us about that and give us some more samples. Good morning, Mr. Watson. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Paul. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm so glad you're here, too.
Yes.
And I want to also thank New Haven Hospital for providing support for today's program. So, Jordan, before we talk,
yes,
I thought I would give the people who weren't among the 1,300 who watched it on Facebook or
Wow.
the hundreds in the room that day to watch your performance at the inauguration last week of new Mayor Justin Elliker. So if Harry can cue it up,
All
we're
right.
going to go now to Jordan Watson singing at the inauguration at Hill House High School.
Change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. But I know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. And I've gone to the movies, and I'll go downtown. Somebody's always telling me, boy, don't go hanging around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. So I go to my brother, and I said, brother, help me, please. Yes, but then he winds up knocking me down on my knees. Oh, there were times that I thought come. Oh, yes, it will. Thank you.
Wow. That was Jordan Watson of New Haven singing at last week's inauguration of Mayor Justin Ellicker at Hills High School, singing The Change Is Gonna Come by Sam Cooke, bringing the house down. Jordan, I was telling you before we went in the air, I mean, my jaw dropped. Everyone was around, jaws dropped. Everyone felt like, okay, the event's over. Nothing else you need to do. You know, you sang, and then after you sang that, throughout the day, we kept hearing about change.
Yes.
Why did you sing that song?
I think the song literally is timeless. So no matter if it was in the 60s during the civil rights movement to now, 2020, we still are longing for a change, whether it's personally, whether it's in our city, in the state, in the country, and over the world. A change is so relevant. And that's just how it came to be.
And so what kind of change are you looking for?
Well, see, I have many changes. Personally, I have some. Of course, it's a new year. I have some goals that I want to get and establish these and conquer these new years. But in the country, in the world, changes is just equal rights for everyone. I love to see equal rights, love all around.
So how did it come to be that you were delivering a song at the mayoral inauguration? Not just the mayor,
Yes.
City Clerk Michael Smart,
Yes.
and the 30 members of the Board of Alders and the
Right.
Board of Education President Darnell Goldson. So this is a big day in New Haven. This thing for the
Yes.
next 2 years, these are the people who are going to try to lead us out of the wilderness. You know, their success is our success. We want good stuff. How did it come to be that you were the one singing?
Well, everything happens for a reason. I have to give a shout out to Town Clerk Michael Smart, who is also my future father-in-law.
Right, Mariah. And I've actually heard your future wife sing.
Yes,
And she's
she's
terrific.
amazing.
I heard her
That's
on,
how we connected.
I heard her on Fitch Street in an event.
Yes,
for Michael,
yes. So funny thing, I was supposed to be at that event as well and sing there. And for whatever reason, I couldn't make it. So he was like, Michael Smart, my future father-in-law, Town Clerk, shout out, was like, "We'll come and sing at the inauguration." I'm just like, wait, what? And that's how I got the gig.
And how did it come about that you picked that song? You explained already how you see the song.
Mm-hmm.
And we know people talk about change, new mayor, new kind of approach after a bunch of other years that were also good years and good things happening in the city. What led you to pick that song?
Well, it's a song I know well. I actually first sang that song at my grandfather's funeral about 10 years ago. And it's amazing how at a funeral it can be so relevant, and then at inauguration it could be still so relevant.
Were you close to your grandfather?
Very close. So much music inspiration just from him alone.
He was a singer?
Singer, had a quartet group, very active in church. Yes.
Where was that?
This was in Middletown, out of Middletown. Shout out to Middletown, Connecticut, hometown. Yes.
What I always call the mini New Haven.
Yeah.
The only other place to hang out in
I can see
Connecticut.
that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So much music inspiration just literally from him. So yeah, that's.
And when Tom talks about singing that at a funeral, when we think about change, is part of the idea that I know in the Jewish tradition we talk about not fearing change as part of the cycle, embracing that it's scary, embracing that it's painful,
right?
But life goes on; it's part of
life.
The plan.
Does go on. It's hard. You know, I mean, we all have dealt with death. It's a very hard thing. But when you know the person that you're there celebrating their life, they know God, they know Jesus, you have that peace. So yeah.
And Princess Brittany says, "Woot woot, Middletown."
Oh,
Marsh McLean says, "Oh my God, yes, bro."
Yes,
and
one of my
named
besties.
Mariah Smart says, "Yes." Okay.
That's my bae. That's my bae.
What change were you specifically thinking about for picking it for New Haven? Was it because there was a new mayor? Was it because it was a new year? What went through your mind?
Literally all of the above. New mayor, new year. And again, I think it's great to start off the year with a vision. It's great to start off anything with a vision. And if your vision is already changed, the people have that same mindset, and it's just a trickle effect.
And when you sang, now you revealed something I didn't notice, which you told me you were nervous before you went up there. Now, you've sung a lot in public. What made you nervous about being in a school auditorium with hundreds of dignitaries and stuff?
Well, you
President
just said
Yale
it.
was sitting right center stage, yeah.
It's funny. I was literally looking over people. I was not making eye contact. It's just nerve wracking. Anytime I get up to saying, I'm nervous.
Now,
Yes.
some nervousness is good, right?
I agree.
It
You
helps,
have to
helps one do a good job.
exactly, and it brings about humility. I also think nervousness as well as your own confidence and ability, they need to have that balance.
Right. You got to make sure you're not so nervous you're cowering.
Right.
You can't hear you.
Right.
And you were belting it.
I had to. I had a cold that day, still dealing with it.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, you can't like not belt this.
hmm
You got to go
And
for
I also
it.
heard when I heard your delivery, there's sort of a yearning when you're carrying out the notes, carrying out the syllables and the words about how you want that change. But then there's this definitive statement that it's going to come. Like it's been
Right.
a long time coming. And that long time stretches
Yes.
out and we're longing.
Yes.
And then Jordan was belting that out, looking
Yes.
to the rafters. And then you had your feet planted.
Yes.
You said a change is going to come.
Yes. It's all about the performance. It's all about, we call it in music, word painting.
What's a word painting?
So literally just how you just described, long, and how it was just like a little bit longer, and I exaggerated it. It's kind of like you're painting the word vocally and musically.
And I went back after listening to you and talking to a lot of people about, because a lot of people did feel that was a meaningful moment for them. Our older Steve Winters talked about that we had heard that song so many times.
Yeah.
And he said he had never heard the word about going downtown. They don't want you around. It made him think about this coming term and what he's heard from constituents in Dixwell and New Hopeville about not feeling that they're part of what's happening
Wow.
downtown. And I hadn't, I'd heard that song so many times over, not since 63, more like since 69 when I was more conscious.
Okay.
I never thought of it as a civil rights song. Went back and saw it 1963. It makes top hit the charts.
Which is
Crossing
amazing.
over at a time before there was really any consciousness outside of the civil rights movement. It was just
Right.
beginning to get into mainstream music.
Right.
And it dealt with the yearning for broader change seen through the lens of civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't thought of those words specifically before about that. It kind of made me see a new way. But so I went back and listened to Sam Cooke singing, and he really sings it differently from the way you did.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about stretching out those notes. So there's one way of singing, I think, that when you're dealing with deep passions and big ideas, you understate it. You don't carry out the extra syllables. You don't stretch out the note. And then there's another, so when he was longing, he wasn't longing with a long note.
Mm-hmm.
He was packing this intense feeling into a shot.
Yeah.
Whereas you stretched out the syllables, you stretched out the notes. Tell me about that. How do you make that decision? Is that personal style?
It's definitely personal style. And I think that's just the beautiful thing about music. You can have the same song and you have thousands of versions. And each song, that same song speaks to individuals. I can't even talk today, Paul. The song speaks to individuals differently from what they've gone through in life. And it may be just as simple as what they're going through vocally that day. Vocally, I can't hold these notes, so I have to cut it off short, or I have to use
No, but
different
Sam
parts.
Cooke's in the studio. He's making a decision. He has a style.
Right.
And it seems like you do have a style.
Absolutely. Born in church. We sing in church. We sing in church. That's just who we are.
And when you're up there at a political event, it's so important to have that reminder of the soul of politics.
Yes.
Politics can be soulless.
Wow.
And even though we go in because we want a better world, we want people to be connected, we want justice, the day-to-day politics can be so much caught up in ego or the minutia of decisions that are important too, but are so dry.
Yes.
That to have Jordan up there singing to our hearts about what we want,
Yeah.
But what about his church music, gospel style music more? And this, I'm ignorant about this. Does that tend more to stretching out the notes? Does that tend out more to stretching out the words?
Yes. It is more
Making long a 5-syllable word.
Right. You're right. Sometimes you can be in church, they can hold a note for a minute and just hold it
Aretha
out.
Franklin, 20
oh my
minutes.
gosh,
Yeah.
Aretha, a perfect example. Someone who would hold out notes, but it just depends. It's so spirit led, Paul. Sometimes, or some atmospheres or some churches, you may hold things out long. Sometimes you may hold it not. You may choose not to. It just depends. It's hard to really explain.
Okay, but you show it. And who Jordan Watson is telling us about being a singer, a great singer. Blew us away last week at the inauguration with Change Gonna Come. He's here on Dateline New Haven, 103.5 FM, live stream, newhavenbend.org. Ali writes in, go Jordan, we love you. 3 hearts.
Ooh.
She stretched out the hearts. Bob McCormick says, is The Voice next or Sunday best on BET?
Wow. I get that all the time. I don't know if that's my path in life.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me about your path in life. You grew up in Middletown.
Yes.
And did you always want to sing? You said you grew up singing at church. What church?
Cross Street AME Zion Church, Middletown, Connecticut. Shout out to my Cross Street family, my pastor Moses L. Harville, First Lady Lydia Harville. Still my home church. Love that church. In that church, I was inspired musically by so many people.
How old were you when you started going to church?
0.
Okay. And was the music the first thing
life.
you noticed?
Absolutely. And at that time in the 90s, we had pretty much choirs for every age group.
So what year did you start? And Tina Frazier weighs in saying, "Go, Jerome Watson." Thanks for listening, Tina.
Tina, shout out from Middletown. Middletown's in the building today. The
beauty of the internet.
Yes, exactly. I would say what I can remember is probably about kindergarten, so about 5-6 years old.
And what were you singing? Do you remember what you were singing?
I remember my first solo in church. I don't know if you know the movie Sister Act 2.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see it though.
Oh, okay. Well, there's this scene where Sister Mary Clarence is like, she's having the I can't even talk. The class repeat after her saying, "If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention." And then Lauryn Hill wasn't in that scene. But the students were like, "Oh, can we sing this?" And she's like, "Sure." And so the little melody, "If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention." And I can remember singing that with my mom, like right next to me, another great singer, my whole family. Literally standing right next to me. "All right, sing it again, Jordan." And it was at that time, it was just like, oh, wow, I really like this.
And then you did solo in church. How nervous were you compared to last week at the inauguration?
I still get nervous. Although it's home and I know everyone knows me, and you can't flop.
That's true. You're singing in your community.
Yes. You do have that comfort, but then it's also you're in your community.
Spotlight time. They know you. No hiding.
Exactly.
William Outlaw says, "Hey, June Boy, thanks for listening. He going to sing at my wedding."
Oh, book me.
That's going to be a good wedding.
I'm there. Oh,
you're going to have fun to see in addition to what you hear. That's my prediction there of William Outlaw's wedding.
I'm there.
So you grew up in Middletown in the church. Did you sing in choirs the whole time growing up?
Yes.
Now, you said there were a lot of singers in your family. Your grandfather actually had a quartet.
Yep.
Was that gospel or secular?
Gospel. Called the Voices of Grace.
And where did he perform?
All over Connecticut.
And what did you remember learning from him? Is it just by watching, or did he give you any tips?
His passion, his faithfulness. Very committed. A guy who loved God. And
did he ever give you? So the God was in the music.
Yes.
How important is that?
It's the most important thing.
See, I would argue that if we wanted to find God, music could be one definition.
Okay. So, well, I need to write that quote down first off, Paul.
No, what I mean by that is, what are we summoning when we sing, and what are we connecting to when we listen to and perform music? Mm-hmm. It's a greater consciousness and a reason for being.
Wow,
and
that's beautiful.
A connection between people.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful.
So, what was that for you when you were singing? Was it always tied up with gospel, with God?
Yes. I think at an early age, shout out to my parents. They showed me how to have a relationship with God first off.
And what does that mean?
So I talk to God. I have a relationship in a sense of spend time with him, whether it's listening to music, reading his word, being at church, being active, being a member there. Just this sense of I know he's there and he loves me. So at an early age, I've had that connection. So every time I get up to sing, I'm just like, all right, God, I can't do this without you.
Do you remember anything specifically that your grandfather or another musical mentor told you or showed you that stuck with you? Like, as writers, we'll remember, like, this editor told me, always look the person in the eye. This editor told me, remember, you're writing for your reader and the subject. You got to do right by both. Do you remember anything like that? So
another shout out to one of my mentors, I would say, Jay Hogard.
That's a familiar name. He does jazz too, right?
Yes. So he goes to my church. He's also a world-renowned vibraphonist. Right. Amazing. So he works at Wesleyan. So does my mom. Shout out to Wesleyan. Anyways, so I had many times throughout my life I got to work with him. And a lot of times he would just tell me, and it's funny that you stated how I was standing on stage. Like, literally, sometimes you just have to be planted. So you yourself are centered. I felt that when I watched you on delivering the oomph on the chorus, that it's gonna come. Yeah, you have to be planted. because it does give off that vibe of performance when you're performing, but then also center yourself so I can hit this next note, or center yourself so I can
So
breathe.
you're saying there's something physical
Oh, absolutely.
that combines with the psychological.
Absolutely.
Like right now, I'm thinking about my feet. I'm thinking about my
Absolutely.
legs. I'm anchored here.
Absolutely.
I'm planted.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's going to come from.
Yes, and then also even with like vocal warm-ups, you have to stretch your body. Your body has to be relaxed.
Singing is physical.
Bam, you are these quotes. Come on, we need a coffee book.
All right, Jordan Watson here on WNHH. I think I said Aaliyah said sing. Jordan, Lita Peters. Jordan, we're so proud of you. So I'm going to take Aaliyah's suggestion here.
That's my sister.
Sing, okay.
What's up, Lita?
Sing, Jordan. Jordan's going to sing us a song now. What are you going to be singing?
So I'm singing Lamb Song. It's a song I released 2018 Good Friday.
Released.
Yes, so I have a single out. It's available on all digital outlets. I also have a singing group with my sister Lita Peters, called the Watsons, Face to Face.
All right, let's get to those. After
Okay.
you sing.
So
what's this
much
called?
good stuff.
Lamb Song.
Lamb Song, yes.
All right, hit it, Harry. Hit it, Jordan.
We are redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. We are redeemed by your blood. We are redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. And sins washed away by the blood of the Lamb. Sins washed away by your blood. Sins washed away by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. And no guilt and shame by the blood of the Lamb. No guilt and shame by your blood. No guilt and shame by your blood. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Woo.
All right, that was Jordan Watson. Wow.
Oh,
Singing
wow.
the Lamb song at WNHH FM's Dateline, New Haven, 103.5, live stream, newhavenindependent.org. Trey, Marcia, Macy, Carolyn, Janice, all a bunch waiting in saying, "Sing it, proud of you, cuz." All that.
Yes.
They're all listening in the house.
Shout out to the Watson fam.
What does it feel like when you're singing that song? Are you in the clouds? Are you
Oh
floating?
my gosh, that's
Once you hit it, you got after the nerves at the first. We say you're always nervous. When you're there in the zone,
yeah.
what's that feel like?
Like my ability is almost limitless.
Mm-hmm.
And not to sound arrogant or whatever, but like when you're in that place, and when you feel like the presence of God, it's just kind of like, all right, I got my ability. I have your anointing, your spirit. Let's go.
You flying?
I'm pretty. Yeah. I like how you said it in the clouds.
There's something about music. There's something about
oh
up.
my gosh.
Even though there really is no up or down. When you
No,
think about
but
the
there
world spinning and what is heaven.
Yes.
There's always this idea of up. You've ascended.
Yes, and that's a beautiful music. Will take you on a journey. You can
and liberate you
and
from the shackles of everyday life and existence.
Well, Paul, you're preaching now.
So Jordan, that's a single.
Yes.
You've released this song. Is that your first recording you've released?
Me as a solo artist, yes. But like I mentioned, I do have a single with my sister, Lita Peters, now recently married.
I'm sorry, what's her first name?
Her name is Lita, Leta. Formerly known as Lita Watson, now Lita Peters, and we make up the Watsons. And we released an EP about maybe 6-7 years ago.
What was it called?
Called Face to Face, and it's a gospel. I don't know if I would classify it just as gospel. You get everything inspirational on that album, that EP.
And now you're going single. You're going solo.
Well, she moved to Maryland. And we both, and I have another sibling as well, Robin Watson Jr. can sing too. Like we literally all can sing. So we all have this group, this kind of unity when we come together. But then individually, we can hold our own. Yeah.
Are you sure can't hold your own? And
we haven't heard them yet, Paul. So I don't know.
I'm sure there'll be delightful. So when you make a decision about secular versus gospel music, so I know Aretha Franklin was the classic example. She was a gospel singer from the church, went into secular, but always went back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw The Amazing Grace.
Absolutely. Actually saw that at the theater right.
Yeah,
right there.
I wonder if I was sitting a row away
that's
from you.
hilarious.
That was awesome. That was just an amazing.
I was sitting there in awe, literally in awe.
So how does one make that decision as a singer? You're inspired by God. You came up through God. At what point do you say, I'm interested in doing the secular? I go back and forth. I mean, that Sam Cooke song you sang, technically a secular song, no question. It comes out of the church as the civil rights movement did. Are you also a secular singer? Do those mean anything? Do you perform just at churches?
No, I perform anywhere and everywhere. I don't think God is so limited that it's just gospel music. He literally will speak to you through anything in any type of music. And I feel like as an music artist, it's important that you branch off and do other genres and stretch yourself. Because a lot of days nowadays, although we have these specific genres, they're all meshing.
They really are.
You're getting country with
some
rock.
Truth to that. I mean, some people say even Appalachian music and blues, there's a real interplay, and jazz is everything.
Or
klezmer, Eastern European music and jazz.
Right.
But I feel like that's gotten heightened, like everything else in our modern world. I feel like every artist has to be able to kind of swing and dip your toe into reggae, ska, classical, jazz, folk.
You have to stretch yourself, and you just don't know, you don't know your ability until you try.
And also, I think some of the definitions are false. Like, it's true that each genre of music does bring an innovation or a different vibe.
Right.
You know, so downbeat versus a 1-3.
Yes.
But in another way, that those are sort of getting us all to the same goal of that transcendence of hitting that musical vibe, connecting with God or other people or soul. Yeah. That makes all those demarcations dissipate. You know what I mean?
Yes. Absolutely. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's diversity everywhere, right?
All right. So now you grew up in Middletown. What brought you to New Haven?
So I'm still a resident technically in Middletown.
I'm sorry, we're claiming you.
Yeah. No, it's funny because honestly, I'm probably gonna.
You're ours now.
It's cool.
We'll share. We'll share with Middletown.
Probably by the end of the year, I might be a resident of New Haven. I'll just say
share
that.
You in Middletown. New Haven, Jordan Watson, Middletown, Jordan Watson.
So I went to school at Southern Connecticut State University.
Study music theory.
What
was that like? As someone who knew how to belt and go wide, all of a sudden you're like writing down written out notes and things, key signatures, time signatures.
So I had a basic knowledge of that. Luckily, in the church I grew up, Cross Amy Zion, we actually had musicians that read music and we sang hymns. So
but like Paul McCartney never read music, and he does very sophisticated music.
Right. I think it's more of a aha moment. Like when I'm writing something like, oh, this is what I'm singing.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's great to know.
Does it get in the way? Is it all a stumbling block to letting loose, going wide when you're thinking, am I fitting in still with the key signature and the
right?
Or is it that you know the rules and therefore you're easier to break them? Like Charlie Parker.
Wow, that's a good point.
Would sit on the stairwell, right? The famous story by the fire escape. And he would do the one run, whether it was diminished, whatever run it was, right? He'd run it over and over and over again correctly. And that gave him the wings to then go new places with improvisation and breaking those rules like no one's ever done before. Yes.
I think it's good so you can break the rules. But then I also think sometimes the rules are there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Give you a framework.
Right.
I always believe before you break a rule, you got to understand the rule.
You have. So another thing I learned from Jay Hogard, you can sing all these riffs, but if you don't know the melody,
That's what I mean.
of yes.
Even if it's just like a Thelonious Monk when he did nothing for 7 seconds and then hit this bizarre diminished chord with a bang on the piano. In his mind, he had the theme.
Yes.
Before he had the variation.
Exactly. So know that first, and then you can build and really create.
So what happened with the experience at Southern? What did that do for you? What did you gain out of learning the music theory?
Again, it's just a better understanding, better knowledge. Like when I hear like intervals throughout, like if I'm walking down the street, I'm like, oh, that's a fifth. Like a better understanding.
So naming it did what for you?
It gave me more confidence, definitely. It also opened up doors where like, oh, you can do this gig, but we use sheet music. Okay, it may take me a little bit longer, but at least I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just opens up so many doors. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So study, and then the doors that are open, you'll be ready for them.
Oh, I like that. You're preaching. That's Jordan Watson. Lita says Jay Hart is such an amazing mentor. Thanks, Lita, for writing in. Robin says, great job, bro. So now your day job is not music.
Not at all.
All right. So you could do behavioral health partnership. What is that?
Yes. So shout out to Beacon Health Options. Shout out to my supervisor, Scott Greco, who allows me to be here right now. We manage Medicaid, mental health and substance abuse services. I'm a provider relations manager. So I'm training providers how to use the authorization systems.
What's a provider?
A mental health provider, so like LCSWs, doctors,
licensed clinical social workers,
all of that.
Doctors. So someone says Medicaid's paying me to help someone with a mental health problem. They go to you to help to figure out what?
To get authorization to see this member.
You know what? You got to deal with that bureaucracy. You got to deal with a recorded message. You got to be on hold. We have a high volume continuously of messages.
No, we pick up that.
No, but you then got to hire them. You got to call.
Gotcha. Okay,
you got to call Anthem or Blue Cross, right?
Yeah, so they're calling us to get the authorizations, but then also Medicaid members can call us to get referrals to doctors.
And how do you not get buried by the numbness of dealing with bureaucracy and remember that you're dealing with human beings trying to get straight?
So our theme or our motto is helping people live their lives to the fullest potential. And that's blasted everywhere in the office. And I think I work with such a, I'm going to use this word, I work with such a dope group of people that are humble and who have either lived some experiences that these members go through, so that they bring that humility and that realness. And that keeps us grounded, keeps me grounded at least.
All
in that sense.
Could you look at the authorization process as the sheet music for the song and the melody of Turning Around Live?
Just mesh that on again.
But then the way you fly is your music. How often do you perform, Jordan?
So I'm at church pretty much every Sunday. And when I'm at church, I'm singing. Outside of that,
still in Middletown.
Well, if I'm not at Cross Street, I'm probably going to be at Mount Hope Temple, which is in New Haven. Shout out to Mount Hope Temple. Dixwell Ave. I'm usually there either being listened. That's where Mariah goes and her family. Shout out to the Smart family.
Your fiance.
My fiance. I'm usually there. So every week I'm probably doing something musically.
But you also then have special performances. So I saw you had one. I looked it up at Phillips Metropolitan CME Church.
Yeah.
I don't know what CME is.
Christian Methodist Episcopal.
Okay.
I hope I got that
right.
They
present All I Wanted for Christmas Lord Fix My Family, LAWD Lord.
Oh, Paul, that is
And that
hilarious.
was that a concert or a play on December 13th?
That was a play. So I do musicals. I do plays.
That was in Hartford. So you had a role. You had to learn your lines.
Yes, and there was music. No dancing, thankfully. But actually, no, I don't want to.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
But earlier this year, so I was a part of that play. Lord Fix My Family. I did Dreamgirls earlier this year.
Oh wow.
Justin Key out of Waterbury, he wrote a play. I was in that this year. I hope I'm not forgetting anything.
So you perform in musicals?
Yeah, I love the arts.
Yeah,
I love the
obvious.
arts.
How did that play go?
It went well. I think it was almost sold out, if not sold out. It was just awesome. It was just awesome.
So you got any plays coming up?
No.
But you got your new single out called Lamb
Song. Yes.
Did you write that?
Yes.
So you're a writer.
So, yes. So funny thing. Well, I have to shout out my fiance Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
That song was birthed in the student center at Southern Connecticut State University in like one of the study rooms.
Is that where you two met?
Yes. So it's like a fairy tale.
Tell me the tale.
We met in music class.
And did she start singing? Then you started singing. Did she start singing louder?
And then we broke out
and
and danced, and then there was like glitter.
This
I don't
is
know.
in the musical.
Yeah.
the Watson and Mariah, the musical. No, so you met in class.
Yes.
What happened? What day was it? How did you notice each other?
So I don't know. We were sitting there. I think something funny happened in the class, but it's not necessarily something funny that everyone else thought was funny.
Like what?
But like, I don't remember exactly what it was.
What was the class?
One of our music classes. So when you're in the program, you literally have class with these people every day, all day.
You're a cohort.
Exactly. From there, we laughed at something that probably wasn't funny to everyone else.
But you both thought it was funny.
But we both thought.
So therefore, you knew there was some connection. And Mariah read some "Love You, Babe."
Oh, I love you too, babe.
And Kim Knox, Burnett, "What Can't You Do," Jordan Watson.
Oh, shout out!
Tamara
Amazing
Jones.
singer.
You're the boy bro of Tamara Jones, according to this Tamara
Oh.
Jones. So something was funny. You and Mariah thought it was funny.
Yes, and then so also on Southern, they have this Christian group, Campus Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
I went there. She was already a member there. I went there one Thursday night. I believe we met on Thursdays. It was like, oh my goodness, you look familiar. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I sing. You sing. We love God. Bam.
So when you guys started dating, did you sing together on the dates? I won't get too personal.
No. It's probably funny because I sing so much around her. It's almost like, all right, Jordan, be quiet. Like, you know what I mean?
But you got to listen to her too, because she can sing.
Yes,
I've heard her. She's good.
So she's amazing.
Yeah.
She sings and she preaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a lucky guy.
So here's the big question.
Yes.
So who's going to sing at your wedding?
So
Because we know you're going to William June Boy Outlaw's wedding to sing. But I don't think
I
you're
hope it's not
hiring
in
him to
August.
sing yours. Yeah. You guys got to coordinate. Yeah.
So we have a list of people that we're thinking of to sing at our wedding. But we individually.
That's a high bar. I'd be scared to death
Really?
to sing at your wedding. Well, after hearing you guys sing, who's going to sing at
Paul,
your wedding?
Paul, no. I mean, I know some like amazing singers, like literally amazing singers. And I think that's a great thing too. You have to surround yourself with people who you feel are just so much more advanced and so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much brings something out of you as well.
All right.
So yeah.
All right. So now where can people find your single?
On all digital outlets.
Name a couple.
iTunes, Bandcamp. You can go on YouTube and get it. Spotify.
So we can find that on YouTube.
Yes.
Under Jordan Watson.
Yes, you can.
All right, then we're going to put that in the story.
Yes.
Okay. Spotify, I'm still getting my arms around. I haven't quite.
Okay.
YouTube's gotten so much better with music in the last year with their algorithms, and
it's amazing. Now YouTube's going to be counted in like the top.
Right, in the streams.
Isn't that amazing? I'm like, I got to make some videos.
Yeah, but hopefully you won't be able to try to learn how to game it. You know how they do that if you put it in with the concert tickets?
Yes. Yeah,
and then if you get it with the concert ticket, they count it on who had the most streams that week.
Right.
But you're doing it from the heart. You're doing it for real, and you're not getting too lost in that. Oh, Jermaine Hill wants to sing at your wedding, bro. We'll leave that up till after. So, do you want to sing it all before we leave? We don't have anything queued up, or you want to just have us go with the Afro-Semitic experience?
First off, I love Dr. Shevin.
David Shevin.
So I love him. So let's go with the Afro-Semitic.
He's my theme music.
Are you serious?
Every day we play Afro-Semitic experience.
When you were playing the intro, I was like, this sounds so...
That was Eliyahu Hanavi. Yeah.
I've had chances to sing with their group. Amazing.
Warren Bird on keyboards.
Oh my
the
gosh.
places that guy goes on a solo, and it's not showy, his solos.
No, not at
He
all.
just goes off on some kind of
Yeah.
branches, and you don't know where you got there in the
Yes.
first place. Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy. I love Shevin. Shout out
Yeah.
to Shevin.
All right. Well, shout out to Jordan Watson. And thanks for everyone who listened. I'm sorry to get to all of you there, but thanks for weighing in. I want to thank Jordan Watson for coming on. Thanks to Yellow Haven Hospital for
thank
providing
you for
support.
having me.
Thanks to Harry Droz, the miracle man behind the controls,
Ooh,
who makes it
bars.
all run. So we're going to take it out. And by the way, folks, go on YouTube, go on iTunes, look for Jordan Watson Lamb Song, Lamb, Lamb.
Correct.
Because if you weren't lucky enough to be at the mayoral inauguration, hear him sing, you're going to have many more opportunities.
That's it.
Because I think in Middletown and New Haven and beyond, we're going to be hearing a lot from Jordan.
Ooh, you prophesying, Paul.
Well, it's not even. It's a fact. It's not even a prediction. I really loved getting to know you a little bit on the show.
No, likewise.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
coming
happy to
on.
be here. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank
In
you. I
your
appreciate
marriage
it.
and your endeavors and all the music.
Yes.
John
yes.
Clark says, "Awesome, brother. We just got you in under the wire." We're going to take it out with the Afro-Semitic Experience performing "I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free" from the group CD, A Plea for Peace. This is Paul Bass inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.